All right, everyone, I just received the new GoalZero fridge. This is the Atlas 80, their larger dual zone model. This will be my first look at the fridge. I haven't looked through it yet other than pulling it out of the box. So this will be my first impression. I'll go through some minor details. However, my plan is to do some full testing in the next few days. I'm going to secure a comparable size domestic fridge and an ARB, and testing all three against each other under the same conditions using the same power station. So I plan on using the GoalZero 1500X to run all three fridges. So here's the first look. It is a monster of a fridge, much larger in physical size than I'd imagined. For just a quick look, you can get all the specs from their website, but it's about 20 by 33 and a half, and roughly 17 tall. So that's the rough estimate, or the rough size. You can get the actual size from their website. But very large fridge physically, much larger than some other fridges of similar size. So let's have a quick look. So first look, these hinges here, or this latch, it is spring loaded, which is nice. So both of these latches are spring loaded here. Okay, very nice. This is the larger compartment. Okay. All right, first thing you notice here, very thick walls. So hopefully the insulation on these fridge are better than some of the ones I've had in the past. 2.5 inches. So I've used mostly these budget off-brand fridge that I purchased from Amazon so far. They're very light, relatively thin. So I assume they don't have any insulation, so they rely solely on the mechanical cooling of the fridge. So this looks like GoalZero took a different approach, similar to their Yeti cooler, and went with some thick insulation here. So that'll be interesting to compare against the ARB and the Dometic when I get a hold of those. Here is the second smaller side. And obviously you can set these to whatever temperature you want. So they're not necessarily a fridge and a freezer and fridge. It can be either or. Comes with a very nice insulation bag and a basket here. So this bag is included as part of the purchase. We'll look through the bag in a bit. Okay, so it looks like there's a light here. Drain plug down here. I'm not sure what this is. Might be another light or a sensor. It's probably a temperature sensor or something. Same on this side. There's whatever this is. Let's see if I can get into there. So, not sure what that is. Must be the temperature sensor. Another plug. This looks like it's the power supply. Another light down there. Baskets. So 2 separate baskets on this side and one larger one on the other side. All right, let's open this box up. Okay, so in this box you get the standard wall plug, the AC power. So that's the AC power. That's the pretty standard. There is a DC cigarette lighter plug here, and the extension for it. So this looks like, beside the This side here, I'm not sure, this looks like it's probably an 8mm standard for GoalZero. This is the same plug. This side of it is the same as all the other fridges I've had. But this is different here, and they include sort of a cigarette lighter adapter. I like this. So you have the option to plug this straight into the power bank without the cigarette lighter. A lot of power stations, or every power station I've owned, only have one cigarette lighter plug, which kind of takes away from other items you may need it for. So I like this. In the past, I've actually cut mine off, and I've converted these into like an Anderson or something. So I like what GoalZero did here. The only thing I can think of is if you're running a power station that doesn't have these, then you're going to have to use that. I like that. Okay, so the side handle, again, very substantial. It is spring-loaded as well. Okay, so this looks like where the power is. Okay. Looks like it's stainless, very nice. Same on this side. Okay, spring-loaded, very substantial. Probably the beefiest handles I've seen so far, and I've used quite a few fridges. Looks like there's power on both sides. Very nice. Gives you the option to run your power cable or have these situated on whatever side of your truck. I like that. Very well thought out. Okay, so the lid here is also spring-loaded, right? Check that out. Very, very well engineered. Very beefy as well. Okay. So here's the rear. There's some information there. Okay. So that's a quick look. Oh, actually, here's the controls. And let me plug it in for you guys so you can see it real quick. But I won't go through the power draw or anything like that until my next video. Again, I plan to do a very detailed comparison against two other comparable fridge and comparable price ranges. I believe this fridge was about $1,000 retail. It was on sale when I purchased it, so there was a nice discount. And this was one of the big factors here too. I always like having a bag to protect the fridge and to also help keep the temperature. And these bags with other companies like Dometic, these will run you over $100. So that being included with the GoalZero here, huge plus. Okay, so I have the fridge plugged into my Jackery here. And let me go ahead and turn it on for the first time and see how it looks. Okay, so very basic. Just temperature on each side. There's a high here, which I assume is the voltage protection. So it's currently set on high. Okay, the compressor just kicked on. I guess don't mind the rattling too much. It's still set here. There we go. The basket was rattling. Okay, so you can set it -4, -4, so both are set on freezer mode. There's an eco here. This, so I guess, just draws less power, but typically when you run on eco, it'll draw less, but it'll run longer. So there's a button for the light. Okay, so interesting. You can turn the light on and off manually. Typically the door turns it on and off. I am wondering if closing it would keep it on. Yeah, so closing it appears to, it stays on. So that's something to be aware of. Lights doesn't turn off on its own. There may be some settings in here I'm not aware of yet, but that's what I'm seeing. So you have to turn it on and off manually. And closing the lid won't turn it off, or unless it may turn off after a few seconds, I'm not sure. Okay, Bluetooth, so you can connect to the app. Fahrenheit and Celsius, so you can just change it to your preference. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, medium. Okay, so this is the voltage protection. So that's the basic control: Bluetooth connection, light, eco mode, Fahrenheit, Celsius setting, and voltage protection. I assume that a lot of the other or any other feature would have to be connected to the app, so I'll play with that later. But yeah, so that's a quick look. So while it is on, I'm seeing the output at 30. Not sure if it's fully on yet. 30 looks really low for having both side kick on. So let's give it a few more minutes to see if it changes. But if it is in fact 30 watt, that's super low, very, very low for a fridge this size. My last fridge was a 54, and when it kicks on, it's at like 54 watt. So if that's the wattage draw when both sides is on, very, very efficient. All right, so while that cycles on for a bit, I hear some gurgling noise, which is normal. I've heard that on other fridges. Okay. Relatively quiet, actually, very, very quiet compared to my other fridges. Let me turn on the light. Okay, so let me go ahead and close this off. I'll let it cycle for a few minutes so we can verify the draw while we look at the bag here. So here's the bag. I've owned a bag before, and it was nowhere near this thick. This appears to be a very nice bag. So there's, I guess, some silver on one side. You know, I like to see the silver on the outside to reflect heat, as opposed to this darker here that could sort of absorb heat. Not sure if it will truly help, but that's just my thought, is to have either a lighter color or a reflective material on the outside to kind of bounce that heat off, as opposed to absorbing it into the fabric. But it's fairly thick. You can definitely feel some foam on the inside, and then you have this reflective material on the inside. Very cool. This looks like the, let's see, I'm guessing this is the bottom. So the bottom is also very thick, but it doesn't have that insulation material. All right, some ventilations here, netted ventilation here. I'll install this on the fridge in a moment to kind of show you what it looks like on the fridge. But this is just a quick look. All right, and I apologize for the shakiness. I'm doing this one-handed and trying to maneuver this thing around. But so I just opened it up, and again, very well engineered. So instead of having it as a bag like my last one, it actually folds flat, so you can set the fridge in without having to lift the fridge up super high, trying to straighten everything out. So you can just kind of set it in and then fold the bag over it. Very cool. Very, very cool. So there's also some storage here for power cables or whatever you need it for. Okay, so again, the GoalZero engineers seem to have really thought a lot of this out. Like this here, this is Velcro, and you can open this up, but we'll see what that looks like later. And let's see where we're at on the, okay, compressor just kicked on. Okay, and 36 watt. So it looks like it's running in the mid 30s, right? 38, 36. So it appears to be very efficient. And again, I can't stress too much on the design of this plug here, because the cigarette lighter, if you've ever actually used these fridges while off-roading, you know, we'll run through Baja and through, you know, a lot of trails. These things, as you're running the trails, will shake loose. And if it just come out, you know, a quarter inch or less, the fridge will stop working and you may not realize it. So having a different style plug that is a little bit more secure is key. If you've ever seen an A or B fridge, they actually have a locking mechanism on their plug. So So companies who actually use these fridge will actually know that and would design their plugs different so that it, mitigates that issue. I've had that problem before where we arrive at camp, fridge has been off for the last, 4 or 5 hours, and everything has started to thaw out. So I've actually went and I've cut these cables and converted them to Anderson before. All right, and as I was geeking out about that plug, looks like the draw is a little bit higher, still pretty low, considering it's a dual zone, both on at the moment. It's at 47 at the moment. So when we saw 30 earlier, I'm thinking it was only one side that was on. So now I think both sides are on, and it's drawing about 45 or so. Okay, so powered by LG compressors. These are known to be one of the best in the industry. Okay. All right, so got the bag on. Did this all by myself with this giant fridge. Took a couple minutes, but had this been a bag designed like some of the others, I don't think I would have been able to do it by myself. Okay, so I know my Smitty built bag was built different, but this thing is just substantial. I mean, any other company would have charged $200 for this bag. And GoalZero isn't known to be affordable either, but the value you're getting out of this fridge compared to other fridges is pretty good. Okay, you can hear I'm breathing a little bit. So fit and finish on this bag is, everything is perfectly lined up. You see all these hinges? Perfectly lined up, okay? Ventilation there. More ventilation here. So that Velcro was for the handle. So you can get under the handle and have the handle out like that. So there are tie down points on the bag. Okay, haven't seen this on any other bag either. I haven't personally used a Domatic, but I don't think they have these tie down points. And they were nowhere near as nice as this one. Okay, so display is covered by a plastic. And plenty of storage here and there. Okay, more tie down points. So it looks like 4 tie down points, one on each corner. There's a... So I probably would have liked to have like a flap here to kind of protect this if you're not using one side or the other, but not a big deal. Okay, so this is zipped. Suppose the zipper could be optional, but if you want to seal it up more, you would want to seal it up. So this goes all the way down to the bottom on this side. So that allows this whole thing to come flat. Okay. These zipper quality, they're good quality. We'll see how long they last. Okay. If these zippers fail, I'll let you guys know. But the zipper is kind of optional. Okay, so that's the bag. Okay, so this is getting to be a much longer video than I'm used to doing on just an unboxing, but there's a lot to see here. Okay, so hopefully the next few weeks, I'm going to post another video with a very detailed comparison with the 2 other fridges I've mentioned. I plan to run a test against all 3, do 4 or 5 different scenarios, real world scenarios, best case scenario, worst case scenario. So keep an eye open for that video.